Rick, how lucky are we today? A beautiful day here in Sarasota, Florida, and we have the chance to visit with the folks at Seafox, among the very first people to ever lay eyes on their new flagship, the 368 Commander. What a day, right?
Yeah, I'll tell you why it's such a day. It's not just another boat. Think about the last few years in all the boats that we've done. How many of the new innovations have first shown up on a Seafox?
You're exactly right. And you know what? Let me talk a minute about the Commander series of boats. Seafox has really done a great job of finding a theme that works to satisfy a lot of people. Now, the Commander series, a lot of them, I mean, they look very similar. A smaller one, the biggest one, the one we're on right now, they all share similarities, and as you work your way up, it just gets bigger and better and more features. But more importantly, what they all have in common is the fact that this boat caters to the needs of a lot of people. Mama's gonna be happy on the boat, Dad's gonna be happy, the kids are gonna be happy. You may find yourself at the sandbar one minute and offshore fishing the next. This boat, if you want a lot of features on a boat, this boat has got you covered.
They took care of every square inch. There's not a square inch of wasted space on this boat. It's all used for something, and I can't wait to get through it all.
Well, there's a lot of features to go over on this boat. Why don't we have a look at her?
You know, George, you get up here and you look, and it looks just like another lounge seating up front, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, I mean, it looks like a pretty elaborate lounge seating when you really dig in. Now, there's no reason for this to be just a fishing spot or just a place to lay out in the sun or just a place to eat your lunch. You should be able to do all three of them, and you can do that on this boat right here. Now, this table right here, filler pad, this is a full sun lounge. You can put that down, it's powered, drop it down to the deck level. Now you can stand up here and fish around it, all right? This is a really nice social setting. But when it's time to get serious about fishing, down goes that filler and you're up here fighting the fish on the bow.
But Seafox takes it a step further. When it's time to get serious about, oh, I don't know, drinking beer and eating sandwiches, this raises up higher and becomes a table. Hey Cap, remember the old style chaise lounges that we never should have gotten away from? Simplest seating system in the world. There you go.
You remember the scallop shell design, all right? And what made a lot of sense to me was making the real high back cushions, high upholstery, and that front shell style right there in the bow. I mean, it was just, it was so easy to sit around and it wasn't claustrophobic. I mean, it's a very comfortable arrangement. And of course, all the upholstery is really nice too.
So many cool innovations in what looks like a small, non-consequential area.
Now that backrest, you put that down, that has access, lift that up and you've got a storage compartment underneath. Both sides are there, tons of room for dry storage. Now in the very front of the boat there, the stem, we've got a windlass for your anchor, and the windlass has a freshwater wash down to wash your anchor rod off and keep that salt off of your line in the mud and all the stuff that collects in your chain, and it's a smart design to have that up there. This is a feature on this boat that I really like.
George, of course we got great storage here and here, but this really puts an exclamation point onto whether or not this Seafox has enough storage space.
Yeah, I think if I had this on my boat, I'd never get any fishing done, but for sure, I mean, you can put a bunch of people up here and 2 people seated very comfortably here. Now, these sun lounges are really popular on boats these days, and it makes good sense to have one. If you've got this room, this is an area on the boat that is underutilized as far as I'm concerned, even on a fishing boat. You know, nobody ever stands in the middle of the deck. It makes a lot of sense to put good seating right here. And it's not just seating, Rick. There's another very large storage compartment available right here. Tons of gear you can put in there. I mean, it's just a win all the way around. You've got 2 huge storage compartments below the deck. These are fender boxes that go all the way to the hull bottom. They're very deep and you can put a ton of gear inside. There's one on either side of the boat, on the outboard side of the console. It just never stops here. Now, you want to talk about serious fishing features, we need to move to the back of the boat. That's where the real action happens. Rick, why don't we take a walk back here and have a look at it?
Cap, before we get too far back here, I gotta show you this console.
Okay.
All right, you ready for this?
Yeah.
We got your standard potty, all right, it's ready to go. We got a fine sink, we've got a bunk for 2, and all of that is trumped by the fact we have AC down here. Oh, no problem if you decide you want to spend the weekend on the boat.
It's plenty comfortable down there, and also there's access to all your systems and your mother panel, controls for that AC's right here. There's luxury down there. You want to go to the Bahamas for a weekend and stay on the boat, you can do it on this boat. But we're going back to look at the cockpit for the fishing stuff. Let's head on back there.
Cap, I got a challenge for you. I want you to find me something you could want in the cockpit of a 36-foot boat that this Seafox doesn't already have.
I'll go even one step further. I want you to find something on this boat that you don't want that's on here. I mean, everything on this boat makes sense, okay? From a fishing standpoint, This is all business back here. I mean, yeah, it's got comfort. We've got a couple of great places to sit. This is kind of like a spin-off on the mezzanine seating arrangement. These two seats right here, great place to watch the baits from, but you've also got this fold-down seat in the back. But for the most part, this is a serious fishing platform right here. And it starts for me, you know how much I love to live bait fish, in the corners. How about a pair of 50-gallon live wells with the aquarium view in the front? Now that's a win.
We talked with Ryan from the factory. He was fishing a live bait tournament that got backed up a couple days. Kept this bait alive the whole weekend. It's fantastic. It drains both top and bottom. It has a constant flow through it. It's a step above what you're used to seeing in a live well. How about every leader, every kind of tackle you could want stored right here? I'm going to grab a runner. I grab a runner leader right out of the door.
Now here's another thing that makes a lot of sense for fishing. We've got a slave unit to the Garmin that goes right here, your display that you can watch. Now we've seen them where they put them out here in the open, but usually they're in the sun. They've got this canted down out of the glare where you can watch it. How about you're standing here on the anchor and you're fishing and you're turning around watching your fish finder right here as you fish. Now that makes a lot of sense.
Talk about making sense. You know how much I love the ballyhoo troll, okay? We've got 2 boxes in the back that you can make either refrigerator plates or freezer plates out of, all right? You can not only carry extra bait with you, you can rig it thawed out and set it in a ballyhoo tray in there, right where it should be. You never take your eyes off the bait when you break out the next one.
You've got a freezer on one side and a drink box on the other. They've done that across the transom right here, and it makes a lot of sense. You can choose refrigerated or frozen. You can have frozen baits on one side and drinks on the other side. Put your food in there, and that's an option. If you want to take that option out, you can make that entire space just an insulated box for a fish box. But that's not the only place to keep fish on the boat. There's 2 very large fish boxes in the deck right here, both insulated, and they're big enough to put any kind of offshore catch you could ever imagine.
It wouldn't be complete with you gaffing a 90-pound wahoo to slide into one of these boxes if you didn't have a transom door to slide him through. That just brings the whole thing together.
Yeah, it does. Okay, let's talk a little bit about technical stuff on the boat. This boat happens to have a Seakeeper 3 in it. All right, it's got a generator in it as well. The generator and the Seakeeper are both underneath this hatch. Now you open that up and look inside there, you're going to see a lot of systems meeting all around the edges with the Seakeeper taking up most of that real estate, but it's not nearly as complicated as it looks. My first impression, I looked at the generator and said, how do we get at this generator when we need to service it? Well, this compartment lifts out and you've got access through the top, which is wide open, so you can get to your generator when you need to do any kind of maintenance on it or service it. Very smart idea. This is not something they just thought up overnight. This is a 2-year process to get us to here. And these are innovations that are exclusive to this model. For example, this is their first resin infused boat that they've done. Now this is an infused hull. The lamination schedule is bulletproof. They've got a stringer grid that's one piece. It's all foam filled, and this is bonded throughout this boat. This boat is absolutely solid as a rock as a result of that. And that foam filling, obviously from a flotation standpoint, makes a lot of sense too. Now it's not just that that's resin infused. Their Ultima hardtop right here is also infused. This thing is absolutely bulletproof.
It's not only bulletproof, it's huge. It provides a ton of shade and extremely lightweight because of the process they used to build it.
You've got lights here, you've got this fish finder, you've got storage in the back of it. In the front, you've got storage where all your safety equipment goes. There's a fire extinguisher, flares, all that kind of stuff can go in there. Electronics boxes, your radios, all this stuff is up there, and lights all around, access to the riggers. Now this boat doesn't have a tower, but there's plans to put a tower on them. They've tooled it up so that you can pass through. This framing, absolutely brilliant design. I mean, the tubing on this is rock solid, and they've already incorporated the ladder to go through the center of the hardtop. This, you're going straight up through the middle and you're upstairs.
How many boats have you and I fought with these slide out coolers? You got to pull the pins, you got to get it lined up right. How very Seafox of them. Watch this. You push it in with your foot and you slide it out, just like that.
There's a lot of Inspector Gadget stuff going on here too. I mean, you've also got a sunshade that comes out by power, push of a button. Out she comes when you're on those days where you've got to do your duty and take the kids for a ride to the sandbar or just do a ditch cruise. That provides the shade that you're going to need to be comfortable out there on a hot summer day. Very cool. Also, before we get out of here, now I'm dying to get to the helm of this boat because there's a lot going on in the middle of it. But before we get out, if you're at that sandbar, you open up the dive door that I'm going to pull my Wahoo through. You're going to open that up and you've got a retractable flip-out ladder that hides right there. You can put a boarding ladder out so everybody can get on and off the boat safely and easily. Makes a lot of sense.
Tell you what we've learned after all these years. Eventually, saltwater breaks just about everything. Here's Seafox's answer to that. Flushing your engines out of each trip. Would you believe a fitting comes out of here in 7 minutes, flushes all 3 engines with fresh water?
Seafox is really trying to make your boating experience that much easier at every turn.
Watch this. Let me just slide my cooler back into place. It's locked back in. Now, take me up to the helm. There's some stuff up there I want you to show me.
All right. Okay, you know I like to spend a lot of time behind the wheel. Invariably, I'm the guy who's driving the boat all day. I mean, everybody loves to be back there working the lines and dealing with the fish, but I get to spend a lot of my time right here, and that's why this helm means a lot to me. This is their first helm station that's got the 3-sided glass enclosure, and this is just growing on me. Every time I get on a boat that's got glass in front of it, I just like it so much more than the old style isinglass on boats. It's so much nicer to look through. You can see the water ahead of you so much better. And more importantly, you can see stuff that you really need to see in a pinch. I like to be able to see the water, like see a fish in front of me, but more importantly, I want to see a log that I'm coming up on or a turtle that pops up in front of me. And this visibility on this glass enclosure is going to allow you to do that. It makes so much sense.
Well, you know how they sold it to me. The only complaint I ever have about glass enclosures is the heat. When they put that vent in there that it started really working for me, because you don't get so doggone hot and you've still got maximum visibility.
This boat has got 2 22-inch Garmin display units on it. It's got radar, it's got everything that you need on the boat, okay? But there's all kinds of other things going on behind the scenes. How about this? I've never seen anything like that. Tell me about this, Rick.
That is a phone charger, okay? Not only does it lock your phone in place, Ryan was telling me all about how it can't come out and take a jet plane impact to
10
knock
Gs,
it out.
yeah.
Right, but it also charges it while you're going.
This is a really stylish trim on this boat, but I love the fact that they do it in a dark color. I mean, the whole boat is white and gray, but blacking out your helm face makes a lot of sense. It's going to eat up a ton of glare, and when you're standing here looking at glass and looking out, the sun's bouncing up off, hitting you in the eyes all day, you get eye fatigue, and you can't see as well in the distance. This black dash panel, black acrylic display, and these units all being dark like that is really going to save your eyes at the end of a long day.
I'll call your black display and I'll raise you the fact that this is separate and recessed, okay? Your wallet, your car keys, that stuff, you set it up here, it's not coming back and falling at your feet.
Okay, Rick, when you and I started boating, we never in our wildest dreams imagined the technology that we're going to be seeing on boats. This boat is a prime example of that. It's got stuff that I'm still having a hard time wrapping my mind around. Let's start here. The Seakeeper 3 we talked about. Here's the controller for it right here. We've also got Yamaha's Helmmaster joystick. We can control the boat with the joystick. That's also right here in the controller from that. I'll admit I'm audio challenged. It seems like every boat nowadays has to have a killer sound system. Well, this is no exception. This boat's got the JL audio system. It's got 3 amps, 2 12-inch subwoofers and 8 8s. I mean, it's just loaded for bear in the sound department, and it's got the RGB light show to go with it. I mean, that's way beyond my capabilities on a boat. All I need to do is go out and catch a fish, but if you want to look cool doing it, you're definitely going to be able to do it and listen to some good tunes while you're doing it on this rig.
Riddle me this. How much easier would it be to keep our battery posts clean and to help them last longer if all you had to do was bend down and slide them out?
That's as hard as I ever want to have to work to get to my batteries right there, Rick.
Yeah,
okay,
that's about
I'm standing,
as easy as it
I'm
gets.
lifting, it's that easy, right to the gunnel. Come on, it makes so much sense. I mean, I feel like I've wasted so much energy changing batteries in my lifetime after seeing this. When it comes to controlling all your switching for your 12-volt system, it doesn't get any easier than putting it all right here in front of your face. All the shutoffs, all your switches, all your breakers for the windlass, etc. It's all right here. It's not someplace down in a hatch where you got to go digging for it. That makes a lot of sense as well. Okay, the batteries are tip-top. While I got you there, tell me about these seats.
Oh, these seats are as comfortable as seats can be. It's going to make a big difference if you're on a rough day. These are Taco built specifically for Seafox. You can tell this is not their standard issue. These are cool.
The 368 Commander from Seafox, I mean, this is a move into the really big boat class for them, and they took their time designing this boat. There's 2 years of thought going into the design of this boat, and you can see that all throughout the whole boat.
I love companies that no matter how good business is, they don't rush a new product to market. You understand what I'm saying? You can tell from the stern to the bow eye, everything is so well thought out. If you are the hardest of hardcore fishermen, if you are the most technologically advanced guy around, or if you love putting a bunch of people on a boat and taking them to the sandbar to relax for the day, What more could you look for than what we saw today on the Seafox 368 Commander?
I can't think of anything.